Hello, my name's Stephen Lightfoot and I'm the Chair of NHS Sussex. And what I'd like to do today is to give you a very short update on our NHS Sussex Board meeting on the 26th of June. Now we held this meeting in Bognor Regis for the first time, and we move our board meetings around so we can go and visit different local NHS services in the areas where we meet. And that was again a good opportunity over in West Sussex yesterday. Now the meeting in June was shorter than normal due to the fact we're still in the pre-election period, which means that we're restricted on what we can talk about in public until the general election on the 4th of July. However, it was still important that we met, and there were some important topics that we did discuss. So we started, as we normally do, with the Chief Executive's report from our Chief Executive, Adam Doyle. And he gave us a really important update on the change programme and also on where we are with our operational plan and discussions with NHS England on that for this particular year. Adam then went on to describe the oversight of one of our NHS trusts, and that's University Hospitals Sussex NHS Foundation Trust, and also the quality safety improvement plan that they're actually developing. We then talked about the assurance that we've got on the planning and preparation for the industrial action that's taking place for 5 days from the 27th of June. Now, after covering the operational details, we then had a really important annual report on equality, diversity and inclusion. And the board was really pleased to note the good progress that we've actually made over the last year, but it's fair to say there's still more work to be done. And what was really important after the board meeting was we met all of our equality, diversity and inclusion leads from NHS Sussex, along with the chairs of our staff networks. And that was a really engaging and energising discussion. And I think in the future we'll be able to announce our plans for equality, diversity and inclusion progression in the new year of 24-25. Before we could move on from the last year, we also had a report from our Audit and Risk Management Committee, and they provided assurance that the annual report and accounts, which is a really big team effort, is very much on track for submission and completion by the deadline at the end of June. We then had a number of corporate governance items which we needed to discuss. So we received a report on our committee effectiveness for the last year. Really pleased that the committees are working well. And there was also some recommendations that fed very nicely into the new corporate governance framework that the board approved in May. Now in June, what we were able to do was then to approve 22 core corporate governance documents that ranged from the Constitution, our standing financial instructions, core policies such as conflicts of interest and other important topics like that, as well as the terms of reference for our committees and then our governance handbook. These are really vital documents to help us to manage the organisation safely and to run it responsibly. I think it was a real milestone at this particular board meeting because it's almost 2 years since NHS Sussex was established on the 1st of July 2022. I think we've had internal audits that have shown we've got good governance, but I think the changes that we've made will make that governance even stronger. So thank you very much to all the team members who've been involved in putting all that work together. Before we concluded, we then talked about our board assurance framework. And this is a really necessary step where we look at both the NHS Sussex risks to delivery in the current year and to our strategy, but also the system risks as well. And importantly, we then discussed and agreed the NHS Sussex risk appetite, which is another important component of our governance arrangements. Before we concluded, we agreed the board dates for the next 20 months, and I'm really pleased to say that the next board meeting for NHS Sussex will be held on the 25th of September. And so that really is a very brief summary of what we discussed. So thank you very much for your interest and hope to see you next time.